the burning in your spirit, welling deep inside. You got a beast inside. I know it's hard to tame it, it's harder to explain it. Can't even get a picture, no matter how you frame it. There's so much pressure with all these external stresses, and undoubtedly try to touch you. Gotta push them through the feeling, even though your mind is reeling. The power's deep inside and leads you if you were willing. Got the power. Can you feel the power? This is the hour to release your power. Got the power. Can you feel the power? This is the hour to release your power. Got the power. Can you feel the power? This is the hour to release your power. Got the power. Can you feel the power? This is the hour to release your power.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Power Shut Up podcast. So we kind of been MIA for a minute. You all know that April is my birthday month, and I think I took it way left and then right. So we weren't here last week. We did a no-show, but that's because I was still celebrating and resting up because I'm a little older now, so it takes me a little bit of time to recover. But we are back for another show, and we have some great cast. I know you all have tuned in for a couple of shows we've already had about this wonderful play that's coming to the DMV if you're in the area. And we're going to meet some more cast members. So you've met several. We had 2 shows to lead up to this, but showtime is going to be on May 10th, I believe. So this is the last time that you'll get to hear about what's going on, so you can get your tickets and be in the room. And I'm going to say that several times tonight. So I hope it's not getting on your nerves, because that's what I'm going to say. Y'all need to get y'all tickets. But before we get started, I wanted to say happy birthday. This is May 1st. So happy birthday to anyone who's celebrating a birthday today or the whole month of May, because we celebrate for a whole month over here. So it's not just one day. It's every day. And I also wanted to say happy anniversary to anybody who's celebrating their anniversary. They got engaged, whatever it is regarding love, happy anniversary to you. And of course, congratulations to anyone who started a new career, just started a new way of living, whether it's, eating better, whatever it is, bought a new house, whatever it is, congratulations, keep going. You got this. I also wanted to, just mention to everyone that I know that these are difficult times, and I've experienced quite a bit of them myself. Being part of the Department of Education, I actually retired on March 31st after 30 years. But there are people who are still working. There are other people who have lost their jobs. So we continue to send our prayers up to them. This is just a difficult time. So this will be one of those moments when I suggest that maybe if you're in the area to go check out this play, do something for yourself. Sometimes we got to take a break from news and all of the bad stuff that's happening and just kind of, feed your spirit. So tonight is about that. We're going to give you a nice play that you can go see. It's talking about Alzheimer's, which is dear to my heart because we've discussed this before. I lost my grandmother to Alzheimer's. But I have some wonderful memories of her. So I love that you all are doing this and teaching people about what Alzheimer's is. So without further ado, I'm going to have Jacqueline kind of help me out tonight. She's going to co-host with me. She didn't know that, but that's what we're going to do. But Jacqueline, you're going to help me to introduce the cast. We're going to talk about what you all are doing on set. And we're going to get into some things like what's happening behind the scenes, or what are some difficult and challenging times that you've had, because I know everything happens. So with that, I'm going to pass this over to Jacqueline. You all have met Jacqueline before. She's the director of this amazing play, but I want her to tell you about it because it's a story behind this. This actually stemmed from a book But Jacqueline, I want you to give a little background on what we are getting ready to witness on May 10th.
Oh yeah, for sure. So you started us off really nicely, gave me a nice segue. So this play stems from a book that Rosalind wrote, Rosalind Morgan, concerning her journey, her caregiver's journey with her mom developing dementia and Alzheimer's. At the time, Rosalind had no idea what either of those things were. So she was literally riding blind into this journey. When she started to learn more, gain community, understand better what was going on, and after she gave 110% caring for her mother, and her mom's journey ended, Rosalind's next step, the next step of her journey began, because then she wrote this book based on her experience that has blessed so many people and has created community for so many people, and also has put people in connections to in connection to resources and um associations and all these other caregiver necessities that we have come to learn that we need as caregivers. And it's because Rosalind was obedient to pen her story.
And I love that, because another thing that we talked about prior was that I learned, kind of on spot that, the caregiver is so important to this, because there are times where they're just burnt out, run down. They're catching the heat on a lot of this. And sometimes they even get sick behind taking care of, somebody who has Alzheimer's. So it's very important, I know, to our family to come together. And it was kind of like my mother take care of her mother, I take care of my mother, my daughter take care of me. We got to take care of each other in a situation like this. This is not a, well, you do it and let me know what you need kind of thing. This is a all in, let's see what we got to do and keep it moving. So I love that you all are doing this. I wanted to shout out everybody who's tuned in so far. Here's Divine Appointment. Thank you for joining us. Diana, thank you. We have, I think it's Candid. Am I saying her name right?
Candace, she should be, yeah.
It's CANDD, but can't we talk about you, girl? We talk about you.
You know,
Um, and Marquita, and Lisa Keys, thank you all for joining. Thank you for continuing to support the Power Shut Up. Sometimes we're sitting here talking about, just to let you all know, sometimes we're sitting here talking about the Power Shut Up, which I think applies in any job you have, it applies to anybody, children, older people, young people, men, women. The Power Shut Up is not about shutting up. I know that's what people want to say, like, oh, she's giving us a, a pass to go tell people to shut up. That is not what I'm saying. Actually talking about managing your voice and kind of figuring out when, if, how, where, to say things. Sometimes it's not necessary to say anything at all, and it's just fine. I think sometimes we're so anxious to have something to say, and sometimes there's nothing to say. Just let it go. But tonight I'm highlighting a wonderful play. And Jacqueline, I want you to tell them what the name of the play is.
Absolutely. So it's Laughing in Spite of, literally laughing in spite of everything, the good, the bad, the uncomfortable, all of it. And the great thing about this play, the play was written by Elaine Hutchinson, although the book was written by Rosalind Morgan. And the great thing about the play is that um, there are very serious moments, there are educational moments, but there are some really hilarious moments in there. And it gives you the freedom to find the funny in a very otherwise serious topic. Um, and the great thing is our lead star, which I know you've already interviewed, Star, who's just hilarious in her own right, whether she's on stage or not. Star brings the drama, she brings the funny, the whole nine. So Laughing in Spite of is literally that.
Absolutely. We've had a good time. They've been here a couple of times, and every time you have come with the cast members, we have had a good time finding out what they do. We found out a few little secrets, but I know y'all can't tell too much because we want people to go get their tickets. Again, go get your tickets, and we're going to let you know where to get the tickets so that you can make sure you're in the house. But before we do that, I want to meet some of the cast members that we have here because you all have an outstanding cast team. The young people came last time, and it was just Micah was here, and I forgot the young lady's name, but they were like a tag team. You know, she didn't even want to talk till he got here, and then when he got here, she was like, "Oh, okay, Micah's here." So we had a good time. We had a good time, but I want you to start with introducing who we have with us this evening, and then we'll get into some of the questions about who's doing what and who's having more fun than somebody else. Let's talk about it.
Okay, absolutely. I'll go from top to bottom. So Edward L. Anderson Sr. is playing the role of Jim. I happen to know him on and off screen because he's my hubby. But in addition to that, he's just hilarious. Seriously, put him and Star in a room, we don't get a whole lot done. We have to separate them. But
that sounds pretty normal to me over here. That's a good thing.
I need to keep them separate. But yeah, he brings a wonderful dimension to the play. A little bit of drama, a lot of bit of funny. So seasoned actor, you know, he's been on the House of Cards, he's been in and around the DMV. He's just done a lot of stuff, and we're honored to have him lend his skill to this play. Thank you, Mr.
I wanted to mention that's Diane. That's in
Candy Powell.
It's Diane Powell. Diane, we didn't know what that said, but now we are clear. When we see CANDD, we know that's Diane. Now, it might confuse somebody when they say that does not spell Diane, but we know who that is. And she did tell me that Riley was playing the young Ray. So it was Riley and Makai. Yes. So we had a good time with them last time. But nice to meet you, Edward. This is old hat to you then. So you've been on the stage, you've been in front of the camera. So how was this for you? You're on mute.
No, I'm just nervous. It's been great.
I should have been prepared.
It's been great for me. There's nothing like a Jacqueline Anderson play. When she directs, it's great. It's fantastic. She's phenomenal. And basically, I get to be myself in this play, disguised as Jim, my character.
I love it. And how cool is it to have your own personal cheerleading squad right there with you, whether you're doing it right or wrong? I think it's great.
Right. It's great. It's great. It's great. Even
I
when
think it's great.
Hey, Lisa.
Who do we have here?
Should I introduce the next one?
Yes.
Okay, Dina, our amazing, wonderful, talented, gifted dancer.
Hello and welcome.
Yeah. She does beautiful things on that stage. I'll let her tell you about them because I don't want to give too much away. Dina, take it away.
As soon as I unmute, trying to unmute. So I don't know if you want me to tell too much. We do have a part where the spiritual warfare in the mind. I'll just say that.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, so.
Okay.
And I represent one part. Can I say the heavenly part? I guess. Okay, I represent the heavenly part. So I don't want to say too much because we don't want you guys to know exactly what's happening. But just that little tidbit.
I actually love that. I did not know when we interviewed the other cast members, I didn't know that there was a part of the play where there was dancing. So I love that. You all kind of touch into everything. And I didn't know that. So that was a surprise. So how has this been? You said I think we talked earlier, you said you had done this last year. But did you
Yes,
play the same role, or is this something different this year?
it is a little different. It is a little different. We do have some parts that are kind of the same, but we have some slight differences, which is it fits really well. So it's going to be really nice when you see it. And one part, even I had to sit back there when the other dancer comes up. I'm like, oh wow, right? Before my part. So just a little tidbit. I don't want to say a lot.
That's
So
good. We're not gonna say too much. We just gonna tell y'all to get y'all tickets. But stay here tonight and find out what you will, see on May 10th, just a little bit. But we want to encourage you to get your tickets. So who do we have next?
Cassandra Grant, the wonderfully talented and seasoned thespian. She has done quite a bit. She is lending her skills to us. Thank you for being so generous. She is in a few different scenes doing a few different things. She's extremely versatile. She dances, she acts, and she's doing just a little bit of both for us and blessing us with her talent. Cassandra, I would love for you to share more.
Yes, well, thank you, and I'm so glad to be a part of the play. And Jacqueline, you are great too, because I've seen you direct, and where you give the actors free range to be in character the way they need to be, and you're absolutely excellent with that. With my role, I am background, and even though I'm background still carries the weight of what's going on in the forefront. Even though I don't have lines, you still have to show. Well, let me just explain. I'm in a doctor's office for one. Oh, I can't tell too much, but being in the doctor's office and just seeing what's going on in the forefront of how families feel when their loved one is going through, Alzheimer's, to just see what's being said. And I can't say too much, but it can be very frustrating with the family. So putting myself in that place, and I have been in that place. I had an uncle that suffered with that. So to know that on cloudy days, rainy days, the emotions they go through and the emotions that you as a caregiver may go through, it can be very cumbersome. But I'm in another scene. It's a dance scene, which is very good, very nice that to be a part of that, because you put yourself in the place of that being your family member, and everybody is smiling. Even the one that's suffering through dementia, it's a good time, and they're smiling, being around familiar faces. But being a family member, to know that these are your not your last moments, but moments that you cherish, that you think about, that you did before the sickness came upon your family member.
Absolutely.
So just putting myself, and have been through it, is really heartfelt, but it makes you understand, to explain to others that may be going through the same situation, to help them along the way on how what you learned, what I learned while being in the play. I learned so much. The play is absolutely awesome. Laughs, cries, just a good, heartfelt play. So I'm honored to be in it. I'm really honored to be in the play. And to be around such amazing cast, amazing and talented.
Absolutely. And you all have a huge cast. I'm familiar with Cassandra. We have shared spaces before. So love seeing you here supporting another production. It's amazing. You all over the place, and I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
When I saw your picture, I was like, oh, I know who that is.
Thank
so
you.
we got some pros in the house for those who are tuning in. There's pros here. There's no amateurs up here. They know what they're doing. But the fact that I've talked about Alzheimer's before, and I know some people struggle with this topic or don't understand. But I can say from the experience I had, even going through this with my grandmother, that we remember some of the real cute things that she did that we were able to laugh about. And that's what keeps our spirits up. So, and to have those moments with her, because the hard part was them going in and out of it. So a lot of this, she actually knew that there was something going on. She actually wasn't trying to accept it, and she didn't want us fussing about it. She was just like, I got this. So it was a little of, I know what I'm doing and I'll be all right. And I think it's frustrating, when they're in and then they're out of it, and they're trying to still take control of what's going on. So talking more about this will help loved ones to be able to just kind of adjust, because a lot of times we're trying to control the situation too. And sometimes you just gotta just let it be for a minute, let them adjust a little bit. So I love this, and I just think we need to do more of this. So I'm glad that we'll talk with Jacqueline some more, because this production is not new to 2025. They have done this prior to this year, so we'll talk a little bit about that. But who do we have up next? And I wanted to actually say hello to Ed Johnson, who joined us as well. And Marquita says, I can feel the excitement in the voices. Absolutely. You can tell that everybody is excited to work with one another, and they're ready for this play, because it's May 10th and you all need to be getting your tickets. We're going to get you the information, but I'm just saying. So Jacqueline, who do we have up next?
Okay, so we have Miss D. Williams. Now, without giving it away, I keep saying that and yet I keep talking. Dina mentioned there was a spiritual warfare battle of the mind aspect that could not be portrayed at all without D. Williams and Dina. And because of listen, I want to say it, but I can't. I'm not going to give you away. I'm going to let you talk. But because of the intensity, I can't say that, of their depiction, I believe it's going to hit home. That particular scene is going to hit home for a lot of people. And I'll stop talking there. D, take it away.
Good evening, Jackie. Thank you so much. Yeah, Dina and I were rehearsing yesterday, and we actually had to even sit down and kind of ponder what that scene is, even to us. And I just for just putting us in that position so that we can um, show real life. So, but I am excited to be able to do the play again for the second time. I'm excited just to be the opportunity. This was something that I didn't even know was going to happen last year. So, but I am a dance minister, and I dance at Dina and I both dance for IPHP Dance, Dancers for Christ, and so this is like my maybe second or third opportunity to dance in a play, but never like this. So this is even new for me, guys. So I thank you for the opportunity. I'm excited. It's a little different from the last time, which does bring a specialness to the play, especially what we're ministering, what we're sharing to the public. Every time that I hear the teaching or the things that we can actually avoid to help us not experience this, it hits home for me. It's like, this is really ministry to my soul.
Wow.
And we have an opportunity not all to have to experience this Alzheimer's. Some of this is, I believe, inherited, and some of it is, based on our health and food choices. So, but I'm excited about the play. And do you have any questions for me?
No, I want you all. This is the opportunity for you all to definitely get everybody hyped to go get their tickets. I'm saying it again, to go see the play. But I agree with you that I think that this topic, I think Diana said it in the chat as well, that she loved this topic. We don't hear enough about it. And I do understand from the last couple of interviews we had that they're going to learn something. So it's not just you're going to see a play and see people act. You're actually going to learn about Alzheimer's. You're going to learn about ways that you can deal with this and manage it. And like you brought in the health situation. And I think you all have talked about this, Jacqueline. You can tap into it where you all are going to have some information on how people can, maybe, recognize it. A lot of this is new information to people. They don't even know what they're looking at. So I think for a long time, people were, Alzheimer's was a thing, but nobody knew what it was. So the more we talk about it, the more we can recognize it when we see it. So thank you so much, Dee. And who else do we have here?
We have the illustrious Regina Gigi Hockaday. I don't even know what to say about her. I tell you, she's so incredibly humble, but so incredibly talented. She has film credits to her name, television credits to her name, countless stage credits to her name. I could go on and on. And the blessing for me is that whatever you ask Regina to do, whether it's a large role, she has slayed monologues and just brought people to tears, and then she'll take a one-liner and turn it into something magnificent. So whatever you give her, she makes it her own, and you remember who she is, whether she's on stage for a minute or an hour. Regina, please take it away.
Oh, that's so sweet. Yeah, I I literally was going to just usher or do something in the backstage. Somehow I ended up in the play, but I love these people. I have done quite a few productions with Elaine, and I mean I love her to pieces. Miss Roslyn is amazing. I think the first time they did the show, I was was in it, and it's just a blessing. It is such a blessing. Um, I can't say enough about this cast and about this production. I mean, it's a difficult topic, um, but it's so needed. And because people need to know that you're what you're going through, you're not alone, and there's so many resources out here, and there's you don't have to do this alone. And that's what I always got from watching it. But it's incredible. I've been in the audience and I've been on the stage, and it's just phenomenal. I love it. I can't wait to see this, because each time it happens, it's like it gets better and better and better, and I just can't wait to see what happens on Saturday.
Well, and that's one of the things that we were talking about, especially with stage plays, is that you're never going to you can know the role, you can know what you're supposed to say, but it might not come out the same way the first time or last year or whatever. But that's the exciting part about a stage play,
Mhm.
because then you feed off of each other. And it's not just that you have a line that you have to say and you have to wait for them to say it. You all literally have to feed off of each other. If it just kind of rolls out a little differently, which makes it that much more exciting. And I wanted to actually go around the room and ask
Mhm.
about maybe a fun scene that you've had, or even a difficult scene, because I know Dee mentioned something about you and Dina had to sit down and kind of think about one of your scenes. But was there a powerful moment in you all doing this where you had to you were kind of taken aback, or it brought up something from your past or whatever? And I did want to say that Rosalind is here. She did say amazing cast, she's honored, and we're like family. I did get that from all of the interviews, including tonight. You would not know that you all are not necessarily related, except for a couple of you. uh, but it's been a big family reunion, having you all come and talk about what you do and how you just honor each other's talents and things like that. It's wonderful. And we hear about, especially after watching TV all the time, y'all hear about all of the dramas behind scenes. So it's such a pleasure to listen to people who actually love working together and can't wait for this. And I'm excited about it as well. But Jacqueline, tell us a little bit about, because this is not the first year that this play has been on. So tell us a little bit about the history of that.
Yeah, for sure. So I actually this would be my fourth time directing it. It was directed by another amazing director, Simone, prior to me. Well, in the middle of me. So I directed the first iteration of it and the second. Simone came in and did the third. I did the fourth, fifth, and so this I believe we're at six now.
Oh
And
wow.
what I tell you, you were so right when you were saying a stage play is like this ever evolving thing, right? It's never done the same way twice. And one of the things that even the cast, when we were there rehearsing and everybody was bringing their collective experience, and of course, from the first time that we did it to now, everybody has experienced different things like in their families. They may not have been a caregiver the first time we did it, but something happened along the way and they either were a caregiver or they are now. So they're understanding the dynamics of the play in a different way. And you can see and feel it come out in the performances. Not that the performances were not amazing at the beginning, but there is an authenticity that that's almost palpable, when someone has actually lived in or through some of these things, and then they bring all of themselves in their instrument to the stage, including those experiences, right? And you can feel it. And so for instance, I'll use myself, like I was not a caregiver prior to directing this play for the first time. And then somewhere in between then and now, my dad got ill. I was blessed to care for him. It wasn't Alzheimer's, but he did get ill. He had cancer, and I was able to be there, hands on, 10 toes down, feet to the ground. And not only but my husband was amazing. Edward Anderson, when I say he jumped in there to care for my father, it was incredible. It was like my dad immediately, this is my other son. And if Eddie wasn't there, he was asking for him. So, and my dad was this big, strong former Army captain, very strong. He's an attorney. He just manly man, very manly man. But when he was facing his own mortality, right? Family is so important.
Absolutely.
Them just knowing that you're there and having gone through that, and then having my dad pass away during that time, while we were being caregivers, it adds a whole new weight to what we're doing now.
Right.
On the other side of that, directing this, it's so much weightier. There are so many nuances that I did not get prior to this that now I do. So one of the things, and not only me, but other cast members as well. So now one of the things that I am seeing is that this go round, this is really heavily focused on the different family dynamics. And I think we had this conversation the first time, right? How now this illness or this common enemy that the family is battling, how it affects each individual, from the grandkids, from the smallest to the oldest, right? And everyone in between, and how the caregiving process shapes
Yeah.
now these family dynamics, and they can change. They may be one way before the loved one got ill, and now you're relating to your other loved ones who are helping you take care of them in a different way. And I really truly believe that this go round, this is an examination. In addition to highlighting Alzheimer's, it's an examination of those dynamics.
I love that. I love that, because a lot of times you'll see plays and they're really focused on the person who has Alzheimer's, and that's the story. But every time you all have come to talk about the play, it is the dynamic between the family members, friends. Y'all talked about the doctor's office, finding out information, and those are all parts of this whole journey. It's not just one person and then everybody else is just kind of there. This does weigh on everybody, good and bad times. There were difficult times, and then there were really happy times. Because I like the fact that you all had so much fun with this, because a lot of people that I've experienced in sharing my story with my grandmother it was sadness. It was, it was just kind of down. And I felt odd when I would actually share that I have some great memories of my grandmother and really cute things that she used to do, that you know, when the Alzheimer's was, because she was a little sassy, and I think I told you all about, she used to, you know, when she was younger, she had ice in her coffee mug. She would always shake it and her pinky would be out. But when she had Alzheimer's and she would be sitting at the table, she was still shaking that mug. And we were like, Gaga, we called her Gaga, but it was like, Gaga, nothing's in that mug. And she would just look at you like, mind your business. So we felt checked many times. It was like, you still don't play with Gaga because she running the show. I don't care what she got. She's still running the show. She is the boss up in here. But there's, and I think that's what Marquita said, is mixed emotions that you all seem to tap into with this play, which I love, because then everybody feels something about the play. You know, it resonates with everyone because they can see themselves in this journey. But I did want to ask everybody, were there some moments in the play, because we have met some people in the cast that actually had experienced it. And like you said, you didn't experience specifically that, but taking care of someone, and how now you see it differently. Because that's the blessing of it, is every time that we have these conversations about Alzheimer's, I learn something new. Or I discover something that I didn't quite see that way. And I'm like, oh, that's what that was. So were there some difficult times that you all had in the play that made you feel differently, or woke up something in you as you know, come down to the wire May 10th? We can go back around and start with you, Edward. Was there something that was more challenging in the play, that where you had to say, that was tough, or, you know, something that moved you? You on mute.
Well, yes. I went through a similar situation in my life concerning my mom. And it brought back memories, and you know, it brought back memories. And you know, I just, you know, wish I had the information that this play is going to give back then when it happened.
Absolutely.
This play will be very educational for anyone that is going through that. Yeah.
And it helps you bring that to the play, which makes it so authentic, because it's real life. It happens. And now your mission is to share with other people what you didn't know. And that's the blessing of this, is that now someone who's in the same space you were, they have more information than you had, and you're the one who brought it to them because you've learned so much about it. And that's the blessing. So thank you for that. Yes, it's a difficult thing to deal with when you are so close to loved ones who this happens to. And we can talk more after everybody shares that, because we did tap into some things that people can do to help. I know my mother learned from dealing with this with my grandmother to start, and we tease, you know, the kids would see my mother playing Candy Crush and things like that. It was like, what are you doing, G-Ma? But she had learned that these are some things that you just need to do. Keep your mind busy, playing games and things like that. So I just absolutely love that you all are just teaching and sharing about this. But Dina, was there a difficult time? I know Dee mentioned something in one of you all seen the scenes that you have, but was there a difficult moment, or even a happy, fun moment that you experienced?
Well, first of all, I enjoy watching them practice because they do have those moments that are funny but yet serious. And what I've learned is the information that they were giving out from the play, that I had a friend whose mother suffered from Alzheimer's. She's recently passed though, but I have a future family member who her mother is on the verge of it. And because of what I learned from some of the information from the play, I was able to recognize what the early signs are. And so sharing that with her and being able, so she is coming to the play because she wants to get even more information. So it's so important for people to, it's a plug. So important for people to come because this information there are things you might just think is, oh, it's no big deal. Oh, maybe it's no big deal. But then later on, it starts to get stronger and stronger. But if you see and learn about the early signs, then you'll be able to catch it head on. and be able to do something about it even sooner. So it's so important for that. So yeah, I have experienced getting to know a future relative that has the signs of it. And I'm thankful for being a part of this so that I can be able to recognize that and share it with other people. Because even if you don't have anybody in your family that's like that, it's good information to know. So you may know somebody or meet
Mhm.
somebody that is dealing with somebody in their family like that. And it's also helpful for them to have
Absolutely. Rosalind wrote that caregiving is hard yet
that.
rewarding.
Hmm.
And then she said, which I'm going to say too, get your tickets, get your tickets. You will not be disappointed. Jackie is an amazing director. You all are amazing. This is going to be wonderful. If you all don't get you, I know a couple of people in the chat are in the Virginia area. I know Marquita is, Diane. I'm not sure if you are, Diana, but they definitely, Marquita said she loves plays. So we're definitely going to get you that information so that you can be in the house. She said, sharing is caring. I did want to go to Cassandra and then we're going to talk to Dee and Regina, but was there a difficult or moving moment in the play for you?
Well, I guess just seeing that, well, yeah, the mother, how she became rebellious,
Mm,
but she stood her ground on how she felt, even though how she felt was not the clear picture of how it should have, or things that should have been said. It could be something that she saw in how she felt, but it wasn't a clear picture, you know? Um, it wasn't right. The thought process is actually, it disappears with that disease.
mm-hmm.
Um, that bothered me because it reminded me of a family member the same way. They were not that type of person to become combative, but
Right.
and you know their personalities actually before they got sick. So that's the sad part. You know it's frustrating to the giver to see that they become combative, and but it's not them in reality. That is not their personality of how they were. It's the
Absolutely.
disease that turns that mind. It just it turns everything around. So that I think that's the hard part to know that it's a lot of families that's going through that, and it's hard to understand. And you're saying it's just a lot. That part really bothered me, and
Absolutely.
it's hard to understand.
I get what you're saying because and that's why family in this particular kind of with Alzheimer's especially, family is so important because it is my grand, like I said, she was very quiet and didn't say much, but she became very sassy and it took some adjustment because it's like this is not how you used to talk to us, but at the same time she's the matriarch of the family, so
Yeah,
you're like, wait a minute. um and then she's childlike, so you're trying to not, and she can feel it, you know what I'm saying, so she's kind of looking at you like, why are you treating me like this, but at the
yeah,
same time I think, and I felt like, I'm not sure, but I felt like she was aware that things were off, but that frustrated her because she didn't know what to do about it. um
right,
and that's where patience is huge when it comes to this. Patience is just something. And look, so this is why I say now to even the young people, I mean, we need to be working on our patience anyway. But for things like this, we need to be patient in life because when these kind of situations come up, we need to exercise it. We got to be patient. This takes time, and we're going to talk a little bit after we talk to Dee and Regina about the fact that this is not something that's just with older people, because I am very familiar with people who are younger that are experiencing these problems. So it's not about, we'll wait till people get older and then you might see that that's not it. This is happening to young people too, as young as 30, 40 years old. So we need to be aware. But Dee, can you share with us a moving or difficult part that you experienced maybe in the play? You're on mute. You're on mute, Dee.
Thank you.
Oh,
I have a couple of examples. So the interaction between the mother and the doctor probably have to be way, way in the back because I can see it over and over again and just lose it. It's
mm,
so hilarious to see her her obviously this was a part of her life anyway, or this is a part of her characteristic because she really gets a little friendly with the doctor and it's hilarious. She really does a awesome job with that, and so it's a section where the audience will really we'll probably have to stop for pauses a couple of times to make sure the audience kind of get themselves together. So I I can see it over and over again, and like I said, it's pretty good. It's really good. Um,
Yeah, there
the
are a couple of
parts that
people.
have touched me the most.
There are a couple of people that are in
Oh, go
the
ahead.
I wanted to let you know, Dee, that because you mentioned some funny parts, and I'm glad that you mentioned that because sometimes we focus on the sad, but they're in the Maryland, Virginia, or DMV area, so we're definitely going to make sure. I think that was it someone on another interview that was kind of like was it Rosalind's daughter? And there was someone else that said that there were some funny parts in the play. I can't remember if it was Rosalind's daughter or it was another young man that was in it. But when you were talking about that, Dee, I was thinking about, I was picturing it in my mind actually. So it's making me laugh. I haven't even seen it. Thinking about somebody who's having to talk, kind of being flirty or whatever it is. I can only imagine.
Yeah, yeah. There are a lot of humor, and I also appreciate the balance that the play was written in. We need to know these things, and also able to kind of laugh at ourselves and laugh at life. Sometimes we do have to laugh to keep from crying. So I do love the all aspects. My cousin who's going through this with her mom, and I've had a chance to kind of babysit her mom. Well, she's my aunt, but babysit her when my cousin had to run errands, and I got to experience this. But she came to the play in June, and she was crying through the whole play because this is literally her life, right?
Mm,
And still to this day, her mom's in the hospital at this moment, but she's in and out of the hospital. And even when she's there, um, she's telling so many untruths that they don't know whether to believe her or believe believe the daughter, believe my cousin. And so it's really serious when you have somebody that's not in their mind. Um,
right.
and the other example, which touched me personally, was my mom was there. And so she enjoyed the play, but a serious mother daughter moment came between us. And she said to me that you have my permission to put me in a nursing home if you ever find me in this state.
Mm,
And that was really because she saw how much work it took to maintain. I'm the only child, so it would just be me, and she realizes that. So that was a real conversation my mom and I had, and I would, of course, do everything I could not to, but because of the responsibility that puts on one, that play brought out a conversation that I did not expect to have with my mom. So that's all I have to share with that. But I truly it has blessed my life in many, many ways.
That's a great point. That this play is going to ignite many conversations that people are nervous to have, scared to have, but it's going to welcome it and kind of soften that conversation. So, because you see the laughter, you see the sadness, you see the tears, but you also see that it's something that everybody's talking about. So you don't feel like, oh, I shouldn't talk about this. So, yeah, I think that was a blessing that she felt comfortable enough to say how she felt in that moment. So that's awesome, actually. Um, Regina, did you have a moment or two where you were challenged or there was a moving moment for you? Regina, can you hear
Are
us?
you talking to me?
Yeah.
It went in and out. Yeah,
Okay.
I just saw a comment. I just saw a comment that Rosalind made about bringing the young people, and
Hmm.
that is so it's so pivotal because when I was a teenager, my grandmother was going through some things. We had no idea. I mean, she was never diagnosed. She hated going to the doctor. You had to drag her kicking and screaming. But there was when I watched this play, I'm like, my grandmother was a spitfire too, and so watching Star do this role, it was like that that's like my grandma. Like these are some of the things that she would do that just constantly kept us off balance because we were like, okay, this is different, this is new, but we didn't know what was happening, and we're talking about the 80s, so nobody was talking about anything, and
Right.
so it's very important that they come. But yeah, that vulnerability that Star just demonstrated, man. I mean, and it was. I had a lot of flashbacks watching watching this production. Like, oh my, okay, maybe that's what was happening because we
Mhm.
didn't know. There was a lot of stuff happening that one day she'd be totally fine, the next day she's just, we trying to kill her. It's like what's happening? What we didn't, and we had no clue. And she had an elderly doctor who he didn't know. It was just it was a wild. It was wild. But yeah, bring the youngins so they know. Then they can folk and start to get some information because it's important.
Absolutely. Because there's levels, and you mentioned that there's levels to this. So, one person experiencing this is not going to look like the next person. So you might think, my grandmother might have experienced it and it was really low key. And then someone else, it's been some really serious situations and dealing with this where you can't let your loved ones leave out of the house. There's really where people have to be on board. It's a 24-hour a day kind of situation. It's not like you can leave them home. And these are things that you just discover along the way. Like with my grandmother, we didn't know she was because she was in and out, she was fighting it. So she didn't want to tell anybody. And so she was still driving and everything. And when we found out she had been in a couple of accidents and was driving on the wrong side of the road, but she wasn't telling anybody that she was having these experiences because I think for her, she knew that somehow if I let someone know, it's going to take away my freedom. I'm not going to be able to do the things I want to do. And that's what they don't want. They don't want you taking their stuff and, all of that kind of stuff. I mean, I even feel at 57 years old, when taking care of my grandson and like, oh, why don't you just stay at your daughter's house? I don't want to stay at her house. I want to stay at my house. I like my house. So I was feeling like, okay, this is how you feel when you get older, that you got your stuff. You want it your way. And when you feel like something is going to uproot all of that, you kind of don't want to tell anybody. I mean, she was really sneaky about telling us and, defiant about what you weren't going to do. You ain't taking her car, you ain't doing this or whatever. At the same time, you trying to sneak too because it's safety. It's all kind of things. So there's so many levels to this. So like I said, I really appreciate what you all are doing. And I did want Jacqueline, I don't know what I know Rosalind and Elaine are in the chats. But I wanted to talk about the fact that this is not like an old person's disease at all.
No.
So could you talk a little bit about that? This hits younger people too.
It does. And I think well, I'm saying traditionally, but to be honest, the information that we have learned about Alzheimer's and dementia is relatively new. Um and because when we've noticed it, maybe um it's been associated with the elderly, we have labeled it an older person's disease. But there are so many environmental factors, many of which are spoken to in this play, that play into someone's cognitive decline happening whether you're older or not. There are food factors, there are genetic factors, there are environmental factors, there could be pollution involved. I mean, there are so many factors that can be involved in that cognitive decline. And literally in the dialogue of the play, um it's woven into the conversations with the doctors in the play.
Mm-hmm.
And more than that, at the end of the play there's a panel discussion with experts in the field, that are going to stay behind after all the laughing and the crying and the dancing is done. There is literal boots on the ground information given by a panel of experts that are going to stay behind after the play and answer questions. Rosalind will be collecting note cards for people who have questions, and she will present those note cards to the panelists, and they will sit there and answer whatever questions there may be. There'll be literature. And again, this is a real opportunity to not just become informed or more informed, but it's an opportunity to build community. And that community could be the caregiver community. It could also be a younger person, 30, 40, 50 years old, who's now experiencing these symptoms or experiencing some kind of cognitive decline, and they don't quite know what's happening. And
Right.
they may not feel comfortable talking about it, but if they go to this play, nobody needs to know why they're there.
Right.
Nobody needs to know that they're even experiencing this, but they're going to get the information they need. They're going to be able to talk to somebody. They're going to be able to discreetly write something on a note card, pass it off to the panel of experts, and get an answer.
I love that. I love it. This is going to be a powerful, powerful thing. What I want to do is we're going to take a quick break before we run. We had a few more minutes. I'm just going to take a quick break, run a commercial. We're going to come back and you all are going to tell them where they can go get these tickets, so they can be there, because we have people. I love it when DMV folks are in the chat. So it's like, y'all can come. It's difficult sometimes when somebody's watching from somewhere else, but they live in the area. So we're going to get you in the building. So we're going to take one moment. We're going to have a quick commercial break, and then we're coming right back. So don't go anywhere.
Is your family struggling to communicate? Do misunderstandings and arguments seem to be the norm? This fall, discover a new way to connect with the ones you love on the Power of Shut Up podcast. Join us as we explore the incredible power of listening and the art of effective communication. Each episode brings expert insights, real-life stories, and practical tips to help families like yours build stronger, more meaningful relationships. Learn how to truly hear each other, express yourselves with kindness, and create a harmonious home environment. It's time to transform your family's communication dynamics and find peace in the power of silence. Tune into the Power of Shut Up podcast this fall, because sometimes the best way to speak is to simply listen. Available on all streaming platforms. Don't miss out.
And I wanted to make this point that even in dealing with this particular topic, listening is key. We got to listen to what people are saying, what people are feeling, and not have so much to say. Just listen, hear people out, so that we can catch some of these moments. And especially with Alzheimer's, if we just listen to their feelings, what they might be going through, their confusion, and that they have a safe place to express it. Let's start there. So that's the connection with the Power Shut Up. But I want you all, Jacqueline, you can, share where we can get the information. I'm going to put it up on the screen as well, but let everybody know where, when, all the deets on how they can be in the room.
Absolutely. So the play again is May 10th. As we speak, Rosalind Morgan is putting the website into the chat, the link. The website name, it should be coming up any moment. However, Rosalind is happy to supply her phone number. So there we go. Thank you so much. And you can call Rosalind for tickets if you still need them. And I know she's going to put that in the chat too, but I have been given permission to use her phone number if I can give it.
Absolutely. Go ahead and let them, and I'll also post this on the Power Shut Ups page, so you all can go out there and get your tickets. But yes.
Okay. Because we do know that there are some of our wonderful older people who just want to make a phone call and get their ticket and not be bothered with the website. So I'm going to give this phone number. Oh, she put it in the chat, but the number is 240. Yeah, 240-481-9302. That's 240-481-9302. It is in the chat. Or you can go onto the website at Rosalind, that's ROSALYN F Morgan.com /events. You can log onto the website where you can use Venmo or let me make sure I'm saying this right. Cash App, Venmo, all the scans, or you can give her a call and you can do a transaction over the phone and have your tickets, physical tickets ready. Either way you want to do it, options are available. There's the flyer. Again, the play is next Saturday, the day before Mother's Day. So this is an amazing Mother's Day gift. Hint, hint, hint. Um, Next Saturday, May 10th at 3 p.m. at the Public Playhouse. The address is there. Most people are familiar, but it's 5445 Landover Road, Hyattsville, Maryland. You can't miss it if you're driving down Landover Road towards Hyattsville. You're going to see it right there on your left. If you're coming from Hyattsville going towards Largo or Upper Marlboro, you'll see it on your right. Can't miss it. That's the Public Playhouse. There won't be tickets sold at the door, but you can call Rosalind Morgan and have some tickets held for you, and you can grab them at the door, or you can go on to the website and get your tickets there. Yeah.
And VIP tickets are sold out. So see, y'all moved too slow and you missed out, but that's okay.
They are sold out.
Because they're coming. Look, this is not the last time they're going to do this play, y'all, because they've been doing this for a while. But I really encourage you all to go get your tickets and experience this. I'm excited for you all. Congratulations to everyone. You all put in this hard work. Y'all been working at this for how long have you been working at this?
Wow. Yeah, it's going on 3 months now. We've been in rehearsal. And here's the thing. It's so funny that you said that because the cool thing is that I was telling them we're getting so excited about show day, and then it hit me. It's kind of bittersweet for me because I have so much fun at rehearsals with them, because when the show is afoot, the rehearsals stop. So getting together with my fam every week, doing these rehearsals is such a blessing. And though we're excited for the play, I'm just like, oh gosh, I'm gonna miss you guys. I won't see you every
Look,
like I did. So it's bittersweet for me.
Anyway, just y'all can meet up for no reason at all. I'm a real just because girl. So Marquita said, wow, the VIP tickets are sold out, but you all can still get tickets to go check out the play. It's May 10th. Great for Mother's Day, to treat yourself or treat someone else. And say you can't make it, go ahead and get a ticket and treat someone else. You know, just say, hey, I've been thinking about you. Happy Mother's Day, or just because. And buy them a ticket and go experience this play. I think it will bless you. And thank you all for doing all this hard work with helping people to understand what this is about. I agree that this is something that we probably saw for generations. As Rosalind mentioned, general admission tickets are still available, yes. And this is something that's been going on for a long time, and we didn't have a name. And now we know what it is, we can recognize it, and there's steps we can take to do something about it. And I said this the last time, but this is absolutely a family affair. And I think this is an opportunity for families to come together and support one another. We've been divided for a long time. But now that we know better, we're supposed to do better. So with that, I want to say thank you all for allowing the Power Shut Up podcast to put you out there and share you with the world. I am hoping that Marquita and His Divine Appointment and Diana, whoever's in the area, can go out and get your tickets, because I would love for you all to come back and tell us how it was. But I'm really excited about this, because I think the more we know, just the better we are as a community. Marquita said awesome information. So thank you for everyone who's in the chat. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you. And this is just a promise that I ask from you all before we say goodnight, that with the next production, whatever it may be, that you all make sure that you come back to the Power Shut Up and let us share what you got going on, because everything that comes through this platform is about empowering, inspiring, and enlightening others. And that is what you all are doing. So thank you for sharing this platform. And I can't wait to hear all about it. I'm going to try to get my tickets. I'm hoping my grandbaby is not on the schedule. because he is actually in the other room as I do this right now. So I'm balancing, but I'm excited for you all. And like I said, congratulations. And until next time, please remember to tune into the Power Shut Up podcast every Thursday, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we come and we talk about better communication. We talk about if we should say it, maybe not. And we have amazing guests like this that come on and share about how they're moving in their purpose. So until next week, thank you all so much.
Yeah, really quick.